Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Desk. And after our visit to Colombia, today we're going to be talking about our next steps. Hey,
Hi,
how's
how
it,
are
good,
you?
how's it going?
Good. I'm just looking. You've got quite the stash going on. I see that.
I'm going to get
What's happening?
a stash comb pretty soon here, stash brush.
I've never known you to have a stash comb.
No, honestly, I've always been a clean
I
shaven
know. Baby
um,
face.
until I started working from home and I just didn't need to shave anymore. And so now I shave like once a week rather than every other day.
Got it. How's that working out?
This has been going for weeks.
You gonna
This is
you
not
gonna
this is not like a short endeavor. A lot of folks, a lot of men can grow, a shadow in a day. This shadow is 3 days of no shaving and can't really see anything.
Nothing really there, yeah.
So if I do, I commit to it. I'm like, oh, I'm going all in until it itches. And
then you gotta shave it off.
then I gotta shave off. And
Yeah.
I quit on it.
It's okay. You look handsome either way.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you got your Columbia shirt on.
Yeah, I do.
How was your trip? How was our trip?
How was our trip? Oh my God, I miss it so much. I cannot wait to go back. It is going to be a very, very long thing for me to have to wait. I don't do very well at waiting.
So we've been doing Zoom and Google Meet calls with the families and phone
Yeah.
calls, getting everybody filled in. We couldn't do it all at once. The schedules just didn't work for that, but well received. I don't want to say there was concern about whether it's going to be received well, but obviously without knowing, and we did an episode about the questions
Yeah.
family and friends have been asking.
Safety is obviously the first question.
There's a lot
always.
of questions they had, right?
Yeah.
And we were able to have a really phenomenal experience and I believe put a lot of folks' minds at ease, including our own.
So.
Like we were doing the research, so we knew what to expect, how to approach, what to respect while we were there. But after the experience, and the whole point of it was, is this a place we can see ourselves long term?
Sure.
I think the answer is 100% yes. I think there's no question about that. So, a couple of things we're going to go over today. We're going to talk about Sadie, what that looks like, well, how she's doing, but also what that looks like with travel with her and what we have to start doing now in March in order for November to go smoothly. We're going to be talking about travel and the potential of using an agency to assist with it. And then the things we're going to be doing just off the top of our heads for preparing.
For sure.
That's our next step. So let's jump into a quick update with Sadie.
Sadie is amazing. She is 100% back to her sassy self and has been busy over there digging for, dust-sized treats that I crushed up and put in a bag so she could take her own sweet time of licking those out of the crevices of this bag.
Keeps her busy
mentally. One of her favorite things to do. Yeah.
Yep. And hopefully now she'll just lay down and chill.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah.
She does have a blood draw this Friday. We're going to check and see if the microfilaria. I'm sorry, it is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Geez. The microfilaria, which I think is like the babies or eggs or the babies.
One of the stages. Yeah.
She never had those from the get-go. So hopefully, there's not any in there. And her monthly treatment now also kills those.
Right.
So she got a double dose there. So we're hoping, yeah. So,
awesome. So tomorrow we will do the blood draw and hopefully shortly thereafter get our results. And
right on.
If we get the all clear, we'll then, maybe not too slowly, but we'll integrate her back into a regular lifestyle.
Sure.
Walks and all that good stuff. So
see behind you?
Yeah, she's right here.
What is she wanting?
Yeah, she wants to go up. She's gonna have to really wait for a minute.
Yeah.
I think depends how adamant. It feels like a structure. Oh, I'm done with this. Now it's onto this.
She's like her daddy in that way, very structured.
Yeah.
But has to go through. She literally has to go through her
full cycle. Yeah.
Full cycle. We go through this every night for bed. She can tell time. I swear it.
Yeah. Okay, so with Sadie, we've got preparation for her to be able to travel
Yes.
because she's never traveled before. The longest she's done is around the town in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So she hasn't done vehicle travel, and she doesn't hasn't done plane travel.
She's done vehicle travel, just not long distance.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are two things that we're going to have to put into place. And I think one of the greatest things is with our business and what we're creating there is we can take 2 for a week to travel to Atlanta to depart
Yeah.
if we want to. We don't have to, we're not in a rush. We don't have to do anything um immediate,
Right.
because we can work from wherever we want to.
That's so
Um
nice.
so, as and there's bathroom stops and there's feedings and finding pet friendly hotels. There's a lot of things to take into account once she's on board with it. So
Right. Holiday Inn, I think, is very pet friendly. I think a lot of places are now
yeah,
becoming
I
more and more pet
more
friendly.
so now than ever. I don't think we're going to run into an
Yeah.
issue. But we will have to be a little bit strategic with how we choose to where we
Right.
stop.
And I think that our goal is to make this as frictionless as possible, less stress, which I think makes it, I don't know, without that whole stress. I mean, it's going to be stressful enough just that week right before we fly out of here. But whatever we can do to make things easier, which is a large amount of research, talking to the right people, paying a little extra if we need to make sure it gets done right.
Right.
And we're going to talk about that in a second too. So even with Sadie, we have this whole training. So we have to buy the crate for her. We have to train her. She has separation anxiety, especially being away from me. So what does that look like with the crate? So we're going to go through a crate training, and then that may take, several months.
Example of that is the first 2 to 3 days of when we leave and she's with Logan, she struggles.
She does struggle.
Even though she loves Logan, it takes her a couple of days before she acclimates, and then she's good.
Yeah.
But
she's a terror, though.
So the hope is just a 5 to 6 hour flight from
right
Atlanta to there will not be the case, right? It'll be seamless and frictionless, as you put it.
And we have definitely decided to drive to Atlanta, stay with
family.
family
Yep.
for a couple of days, right? And then do the one stop
and take our time with it. It'll make it the easiest on us as well as on Sadie.
Absolutely.
Plus we'll have a direct flight, which is the main factor behind that.
Sure.
Because
3 planes was too much.
We had several layovers, right? And we didn't miss any. Like with one layover, there's your odds of missing your transport go up quite a bit. But then having that second leg, I mean, that's a lot logistically. And it doesn't take much of a delay for that to be a problem. And
then to have to get through customs, you have to plan for that.
And customs takes a long time.
Yeah,
like our layover was like, I think our layover was like an hour and 40 minutes, and we were still like walking to the gate and they were boarding when we walked up.
Sure.
Like customs is a time suck. Mm. So when you see 2-hour layover, realistically, you've got about 20 to 30 minutes of actual buffer time.
And then we had I think it was the second stop, we had to go to baggage claim, turn around and go back into the airport, go through security all over again just to hop on that last flight.
Right.
So a lot
because customs dumps you into arrivals. And then from arrivals, you're out of the concourse at that point. You have to go back in.
Right.
Yeah. And I ran into the same thing when I was doing Spain. And that one was bonkers. I went Portugal to Spain, so there was a country difference there.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
And then Spain to Toronto, there's a country difference
Holy
there.
Cow.
And then Toronto to Detroit. And one was actually booked separately, and so my bags didn't carry over either. It's a whole mess. So being a seasoned international traveler definitely helps a lot, but there are a lot of things, and you want to take your time, maximize, and have insurance.
And
so
have
that
insurance
in the event that something happens, it's not out of pocket.
And it's health insurance provided as well, along with that travel insurance.
Yeah, your health, your travel, your baggage,
all of it.
Yeah.
And the other piece to that is why we're looking at a travel agent, which we are going to be having a meeting with someone in particular, one of our chamber member friends, the Labatt group that you are in with Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce. And we're going to see if that is going to make it a little less stressful for us, for Sadie, booking tickets. Like, it's just kind of done for us, which is a huge relief.
Well, I'll tell you, you and I, we've gotten to the point where if we can delegate it out, it's worth spending a few extra bucks because, and I am a huge advocate of this, especially for international travel.
Yeah.
In the event that something happens and you're at an airport where you just don't speak the language, there can be a lot of friction there,
Right.
and trying to rebook stuff, and it can be a nightmare. But if you have somebody on your side who's handling it for you, it's a call to your agent, and then your agent works in the background to take care of you.
Right.
Worth every penny.
Totally agree. There are things that you and I choose to pay for and things that we're like, no, we got this. We can do it ourselves.
Yep.
This is not one of those times.
So travel agent, it's going to help with several things. One, figuring out departure and arrivals to make sure that it accommodates to us, to make sure that Jorge is available when we arrive to pick us up in Colombia. Sadie obviously can be free, but then there's what happens with the crate. Is it a breakdown? Does it just go in the trunk?
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of moving pieces. So having a travel agent that can flip on a dime, that's going to be helpful. But also, which airline's going to be best? We know which airline we would prefer for pet travel. For us, it's different than for pet travel.
Sure.
But to make sure that those accommodations are all done. So travel agent, I think, is going to play a vital part for us having a pet. If it was just us, I think we could do it on our own and be okay.
Oh, no problem.
Sadie, yes, months, 4 to 6 months of training, because it's not just about getting her to be able to do it. It's her being comfortable doing it.
Because you cannot sedate.
You cannot sedate.
Yeah, they don't allow that.
And I think 5-hour flight is not going to be bad at all. I think that's going to be really manageable. If it was much more than that, now you're talking about the animal having to use the bathroom, a feeding period. That makes it, that's a whole nother moving piece that makes it really difficult.
Right. And we also need help with knowing what Colombian Airlines, their expectations of bringing a pet or flying a pet in, and then also our vet. So we have to get with him, which he already has pulled the paperwork for her. He's got to have that stamp of approval. Yep. So he is a vet that is authorized to do international travel for pets.
And you've mentioned in a previous episode, Colombia is not a country that requires an isolation period.
Correct.
Entering or leaving. So we won't have any isolation periods. So there's a weight lifted off dealing with that.
She has to have a rabies shot, which she does, like all the things.
Yep.
And we also want to make sure that while we are there, that Sadie won't be in need of any vaccines that Colombia would require.
Right.
So there's a lot of moving pieces just with Sadie.
Yep.
But I think having a travel agent is going to make our lives much easier.
Yep.
Sure.
Español. So
yo hablo.
So we have to
Español.
Toss a huge round of applause to Amy, because there were several situations that we got ourselves into where I froze, but your conditioning, meeting with a Spanish teacher every week, I think we both can understand what's happening during a conversation, but your ability to be able to respond, even just having the confidence of like, okay, I got this, and then putting stuff together, got us through several situations where I kind of froze because I was ill prepared. And I talk about this when I am coaching my clients. You know, LeBron doesn't go out and just kill it every night without practicing. You have to practice.
Yeah.
So it's time for me to start practicing what I preach. And so I'll be jumping on doing Spanish lessons the app to keep it fresh, which the app, it'll teach you stuff. It will not teach you stuff. Some of it might just seem no brainer, but the most important thing is it's consistent every day. It's
So you're
forcing you
talking
to
about
use it.
Duolingo?
Yes. It forces you to use it every single day, which keeps it fresh, which keeps you, using the stuff that you're learning. And then you've got your conversational stuff with your teacher.
Yeah. So italki is the company that I use
For your in-person,
for my in-person
yep.
conversational once a week for 30 minutes. It costs me now, I think, with the little tax or whatever, like $8.13 total for 30 minutes. That is so inexpensive. And I'm speaking with Laura, who is in Bogota. So she's amazing. She is 100% Colombian. And so she is going to help you with all the things. If we're going to conjugate verbs, if we're going to make sentences, create sentences. So she does all of it from speaking it to writing it to all the different ways that you need to learn and understand. I think Duolingo is awesome. I do 15 to 30 minutes of that every morning. That is Spanish. It is not Colombian dialect
Right.
Spanish. So, but it's awesome because my vocabulary has increased so much, and also learning how things are said. Like, I am X amount of years old. It is, I have X amount of years or something like that.
Right.
So it doesn't
directly
translate in English, which is a lot of Spanish.
Right.
So learning how they communicate, that has been really big and helpful with Duolingo. Get it on sale. I got it for I think it was $60 or $100, something. It was so inexpensive for an entire year.
Right. We will drop links to both Italki as well as Duolingo.
There's Babbel. There's all kinds of Babbel's supposed to be really good. There's different things. It's like we need to start speaking around the house to each other in Spanish, correcting each other. I think that they also talk about immersion. So we can find potentially an opportunity in Pontiac. Maybe we can do a language exchange or something like that.
Yeah.
That's right next door to us, like 5 minutes away. And then there's also movies, which I know you hate subtitles, but
so here's my approach on this, and I think this is a fair way to go about it, at least for me. Watching movies I already have seen, because at that point I already know what's happening,
right.
And so for me, I won't feel like I'm missing out. But if I'm watching an episode of something I've never seen before, I just know how my brain works. It's not going to like that at all.
What are some weird things that we've seen that's happened? Like last night, we turned on a movie and out of nowhere,
or Netflix all of a sudden defaults to Spanish.
We didn't touch a thing. Like it just automatically started doing it. We have no idea how that even happened.
We're very much manifestors. We believe that if you pay attention to the signs around you, that there's reasons behind everything.
That was a nudge.
A nudge. That was a nudge. Yeah. It was a nudge. And listen, I'm not anti-Spanish in taking classes. What I really wanted to do is find out 100% we want to do this before I start investing time, energy, because my time, just like you, our time is very valuable to us.
Sure.
And you already knew. I didn't know. For me, I know once I experience. For you, going through it is the experience. So,
yeah. I'm a lifetime learner too.
I'm on board. So I'll be jumping in probably with your same instructor, because I think it makes the most sense. And she's doing great for you.
She's just amazing.
I'd rather give back to the same person and help them.
She's really great.
Awesome. So Spanish classes, travel agent, crate training with the doggo, her update. I think the only other thing that I have an update on is what we have going on now while we're doing these things. So let's take a quick second and talk about what you have going on. So you have a nonprofit here in the States.
Yes.
And your nonprofit it caters to every single child in a way. Like, you might have a nonprofit, but it's focused on just one particular type of vertical.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is literally for every single child. Every single child can benefit from this, which
Absolutely.
therefore means every single family benefits from it, which means society benefits from it. So
Educators,
you've
yeah,
got a
all.
huge fundraiser coming up, but talk about your nonprofit a little bit and then also what you got coming up for your fundraiser.
Yeah. So, A Courageous Voice, which I started about 4 years ago based on my own childhood trauma. And I wanted to provide a way for children to have access to child safety prevention education. So, we work in schools and other youth serving organizations, after school programming, for example. And we teach kiddos with an evidence based, comprehensive, age appropriate curriculum. We teach them, Chad, how to stay safe, both off and online, which both are important. I know cyber safety is a big one now, and I'm absolutely on board with that. But we also want to really focus on offline safety as well. And who can't benefit from this? So our Kids Voices Matter program. Check us out on www.acourageousvoice.org. And on there, you'll find our programming, Kids Voices Matter, and our Stronger Together program, which is where we work with adults and we educate them around child abuse and child trafficking and child exploitation, all the things, child sex abuse. And all of that actually falls under like child sex trafficking and child exploitation all falls under child sex abuse. And just that helping people to have a better understanding of how this is an actual epidemic in our country, how Americans are the number one consumer for child trafficking here, child exploitation. Um, how can we stop it? And using prevention education, 95% of child sexual abuse can be eliminated with prevention education. So, knowing the statistics, having a better understanding of what's going on out there, we work very hard, me, and the wonderful support like you, for instance, none of this could happen without you. Um, just helping to raise awareness. And we have a huge fundraiser coming up at Top Golf on April the 25th in Auburn Hills, Michigan. And it is going to be fantastic. You can go onto our website. The flyer is right there. You can come and purchase a bay. They're $1,000. You get 6 people, to come and play golf for 3 hours. There's food available. There's going to be drinks. Everybody gets a drink ticket. You can sponsor that way. We need a bar sponsor still. We have one and now we need another one. You can sponsor the photo booth if you want to. You can purchase tickets. They're $125 and 100% of this goes back into our organization and helps us continue to stay active in our communities. Schools, unfortunately, most schools cannot afford our programming. So we're constantly looking for grants and trying to raise funds in order to be able to pay for this because this needs to be in front of every single child. And then we also have candles, which I make, and I forgot to go and grab one. They're beautiful glass jars, 8-ounce organic soy. Again, I hand make these. I have a huge event this coming Wednesday at an all woman fempreneur event in Novi, and they're $20. But for $20, you're really donating to an excellent cause. So we want to protect our children. I think these are our next generations coming up, and we've got to set the stage for them to be successful mentally, physically, all of it.
For there to be 95% of an issue eradicated by prevention education,
Right.
sounds like a no-brainer to me because that means you go into a public school and you cover all the schools.
Mm-hmm.
95% of that stops there. It's gone. Doesn't exist anymore. We're talking about we're talking about all of it. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. I was going to
Sure.
try and give an example, but
Well, it's
that's
bullying. It's our curriculum. Thank goodness covers
I
all
don't
of it.
I don't I can't think of anything off the top of my head that can be handled at that high of a level, 95%, and by education.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because the way the curriculum is put together, it resonates with the kids, both emotionally but also factually. It's kind of like, my generation. We grew up on the golden rule, and we have quite a few kids, quite a few adults now, who still live and breathe the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That's treat other people how you want to be treated. People still take that to heart because it was preached in schools. Well,
Biblically as well.
now
Yeah.
we can get rid of a lot of the issues, because a lot of our adulthood issues um, manifest from our childhood
Childhood.
experiences.
Absolutely. And we all have our stories.
So, as a child, if we're able to understand the red flags, we're able to have a safe adult. We know what to do and how to handle these things.
Yeah.
Um, the chances of us growing up and becoming these people that have some issues are significantly less.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity to truly save lives. And, had I had this information as a child, um, I would not have gone through what I went through.
You can literally go through your mind and say, if I had the tools and the knowledge, what happened
Right.
wouldn't have happened. And that's at a 95% rate.
Absolutely.
No brainer to me. Some of the other things. So awesome. Thank you. Courageousvoice.org. If you're local to the Michigan area, we definitely encourage you to come out to April 25th to the Top
Yeah,
Golf
check out
event.
our website if you have any questions. Info@courageousvoice.org. I can, personally chat with you and talk with you, but it is absolutely going to be an amazing, fun evening. We're so excited. I think we have a raffle that's going on. Our fundraising committee is putting this whole thing on. So they're a
Great
great
group of
group.
folks.
Yeah.
And if you are outside of the Metro Detroit area, or if you're not a golf person, you can still donate. And again,
Yeah.
all of the proceeds
Please.
go directly to ACV to help get this to as many schools as possible. On the for-profit side, so Ever Studios is growing, moving, and shaking. We did our testing of all of our tech and everything while we were in Colombia, and everything works out perfectly.
It did.
No additional anything needed.
So internet was great.
Internet was great.
And
All of our tools
Yep.
worked, which was something, wasn't a concern, but it was something I need to make sure was the case. Because sometimes as you're in different countries, the IP addresses are blocked, right? So everything worked out great. And our photo booth company is doing great too. We have an amazing photo booth attendant who is just, text her, hey, are you available? Yep, got you. And just done. Just
She's
book
a
the
student
event.
with Oakland University, and she is phenomenal.
Yeah, so things are going great. Ever Studios, we do website design, we do search engine optimization, but we focus on the everyday business.
Yeah.
So we're not here for the regional or national companies. We're here for the people that need that extra boost, that need that help, but can't afford, $5,000-$10,000 a month, right? We want to help people.
If you want that online presence, if you want Google, if you want to be found on Google, yeah, we can really help you.
Yeah, and our stuff is really affordable. We're more I don't want to say cheap. We're more affordable than 80% of the agencies out there, which means we cater to a specific vertical. But what we did was we really wisely figured out a way to do our business, operate our business with minimal overhead. So that allows us to then pass that savings on, right? But most companies would say, cool, we get more money. And we said, no, let's pass that savings to our clients.
Sure.
And we reduced our price about 60% to accommodate for the everyday person.
And they work one-on-one with you as well. So there's these monthly sync calls that you do. Like, you are really on board with helping, like personally helping.
It's always been my mission to help and support, because, when I was first starting off, I did have a mentor, and that stuck with me about, they could have charged me $500 a month easily. But they didn't. And, that person having my back was a really big deal. So I wanted to pay it forward, but that's also part of the business model. We believe in helping others, supporting local. And so, yeah, Ever Studios, I mean, we're really about, helping the everyday business make an impact and show up online in a beautiful way. So if that's a service you're looking for, or you're, somebody that could use a little bit of help, I'm happy to do a consultation.
And what's that website? What's our website?
Yep, I'm happy to do a consultation. 30 minutes. We'll just chat and see if we're the right fit.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. we might not be the right fit, but at least you have the
At
information at
least
that
you know.
point, right?
And at least you can, is it a site audit?
Yeah, so I'll do an audit. I'll do a free audit for your site, which basically means I'll take your website and I'll see technically how does it look? Is it built properly? And then how are you showing up in Google's eyes? And what it's
Right.
going to do is also give us a look at the areas of opportunity, but also some things that are being done
And
away.
that's free. You're
Yeah.
giving that away for free.
Yep.
Awesome.
So you can go to theeverstudios.com and you can just go to the contact page and book some time with me.
Yeah, there's lots of blogs on there for you can read for extra information. It's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love doing SEO work now.
So that's our plug. That's our plug. Those are our plugs. But realistically, I mean, people who are watching this, one of the questions is going to be, what do you do in order to be able to do what you're doing? And that's kind of an elaborate way of talking about it, is giving some insight into what we do and why
Right.
we're 100% remote. So,
And I can step away from, well, not step away from ACV, but I can be in another country still working for December, January, and February. Those are kind of our slower months. And that's also a prep time for me for that.
exactly. It's a
Yeah.
ramp up for sure.
So
So
can do
there's
it there.
yeah, there's a lot of ways to work remotely or move your business. I think one of the things we're going to do, we're going to start adding what we just did, that element, into more of our episodes, because the reality is not everybody listens top down all the
For
way
sure.
through, right? They might pick up on one, and that's going to be a question that everybody has. I know it was when we were going through and researching.
Yeah.
We're like, well, how are these people affording to be able to do this, or what is it that they do? And there's a couple out there that we still watch and listen to, and I still don't know what the heck it is that they do to be able to afford
Right.
traveling country to country, and and I'm a pretty smart guy. I can understand quite a few things, but so we're gonna add that element to here in more of our episodes where we talk about what we do, so that people understand why, get to know us a little bit
Yeah,
better.
absolutely. So one other thing
Yeah.
is we have up here on our board for me, I'm going to contact Nexco Legal and going to talk with them about maybe what the next steps are for me to obtain that marriage visa. And the reason I say it now is because this is such a long process and it needs to be started now.
Right.
So I need to get my own cedula, which we know now yours is ready. And it took how many months?
Yeah.
Like 6 months, 5, 6
No,
months,
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
So want to be able to have that done and well taken care of, but finding out, what is it that
And they may
need
have
from
taken
me?
December off, so it might have been.
That's
It might have
true.
actually been the three and a half
Yeah.
months. But yes,
So
that's going to be an important part. So we have Nexco Legal that we're going to be jumping into. So do you know what we're going to be talking about next week? I don't know if we wrote that down.
did not.
What do you want to talk about next week?
What would you like to talk? Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. So you have been, so AK Joel and Andrew Messina, who are with Medellin, Medellin Masterclass. Highly recommend these guys. They actually help you move to Medellin if that's something that you're looking for, either part-time or full-time. And they have a masterclass that you can purchase. They have one for, I don't know, $200 or $300. They have a $1,500 one. And then the elite is like $5,000 and they do it all for you. They find the apartment, all that kind of stuff. So you just finished the smaller masterclass.
Yep.
And you immediately started looking at apartments, and not for rent, but to purchase. And one of the things that I pulled up a map, I found a map of the Estradas.
Right.
And so finding out where in Envigado, we would want to live. Is it that 3, 4, 5, or 6 Estrada that we want to live in? And I think we decided 5.
5, yeah.
So that was something I noticed that you had been doing. So we definitely can tap into that because there is a huge market there. There's an expo coming up in March. We can talk about that on our next our next podcast.
Awesome. So we'll explore some of like living apartments and locations in Estradas.
I think that this is ongoing for us and something that really helps keep us motivated.
Yeah, a big part of why I was looking at the purchase side is because my brain understands value of what is it that you're purchasing.
Sure.
But also, I mean, this condo I purchased, the house before I purchased, I haven't rented in a very long time. So my brain is also owning the real estate because in
Mhm.
the United States, real estate is very high value.
It is there too,
And I
sure.
think it is there as
It
well.
is.
And so there's going to be things like, is it zoned in a way where you can rent it, sublease it, sublet it, or if it's something where if you own it, you can't. And that will be dependent upon will start to shape what we do because we very well could turn into, you know, having properties that we hold there for rental purposes as additional income. We don't
Yeah.
know, but understanding how that works there, that's going to be an important part for
And the
me.
mayor of Medellin just implemented something for the Airbnbs there, not Envigado and not Sabaneta, but just Medellin around the Airbnbs and the things that have been happening there to foreigners who come down there for activities that are, how do you say this? The
Yeah,
activities
yeah,
that are the activities that you're going to get in trouble for. Um,
right,
so anyway, so we want to make sure that if Airbnb or something is something that we want to do with a property that we own while we're not there, we want to make sure that all our ducks are in a row. So just really digging into a lot of that stuff,
right.
plus looking at furnished homes.
Cool. We can definitely talk about that
Yeah.
next time. So, you want to take us out?
Yeah. So until next time, I don't remember all of it. Folks, have an extraordinary week. We'll see you next time on Beyond the Desk.